Jenny here with Sipping Streams Tea Company for another Thirsty Thursday, and thank you so much for joining me today. So I've had a lot of questions about tea, and most of them that I've already answered those questions you can check out on our YouTube channel also. But I'm always interested in hearing more questions about what you have about different interesting nuances or categories or explanations about tea. So one of the interesting categories of tea that we have is oolongs. There's actually 5 types of teas. There's white tea, green tea, oolong, which is the most complex category of teas, black tea, and pu'erh. And most people think oolong is a name of a tea when it's actually a category of tea with 5 subcategories in it. And actually most of the awards that we have won are in the oolong category. So I've actually brought 3 of my award-winning teas. So in oolongs, it's a semi-oxidized tea. They used to call it fermentation, but that had to do with a translational error or mistranslation of Chinese into English. And sometimes Chinese words are, they understand what it means and it's kind of within the context. So when it got translated, a lot of people said it was fermented, but it isn't actually fermented. There's no yeast going into there. There's no sugar. There's no water added to it. Tea is oxidized. So when you bite into an apple and you leave it on the counter, it starts to turn brown. And that brownness is what makes a tea darker from a green tea to an oolong to a black tea. And so black teas look kind of black on the leaves because it's fully oxidized. So if you imagine for oolongs, imagine an apple and how you can take that apple and sometimes roll it onto the table and you're bruising underneath all the nice sweet flesh that you're going to eat. Well, by the time you let it sit for a day and you open up that apple, it's going to look a little brown, even though you didn't actually cut into the skin of the apple, you didn't bite into the skin of the apple, but underneath the surface, it's going to kind of oxidize because you've done some bruising. And that's kind of how oolongs are. They're rolled over and over again, or sometimes they're twisted, and that process of letting them sit out with that bruising or twisting kind of, hurts the tea leaves a little bit, but then it reacts with oxygen and that's how it turns darker. So we have 4 different kinds today. We have our award-winning Ginseng oolong that just won 2nd place at the Global Tea Championships, and people are like, that doesn't look like tea to me, but it's actually coated and rolled within the actual ginseng powder. And so this just won 2nd place at the Global Tea Championships this past March. And then my favorite is the Kwan Yin oolong, which these actually open up as individual full leaves. And so typically you can drink these up to 6 times. The 3rd through the 5th steeping are the best tasting. So the Kwan Yin oolong and the ginseng oolong are very similar because essentially this ginseng oolong is made in the Kwan Yin rolling style, but was coated and rolled in ginseng. So what makes this ginseng oolong really special is that it's not just coated in it, but all the rolling process and steps that it went through, it actually has the ginseng within all the folds of the leaves. So you keep tasting ginseng until the 6th time, maybe the 8th time. It still has that consistent ginseng flavor. It doesn't just come off with the first steeping because it's within all the leaves. And then we also have 2 more of our award-winning teas. Actually, oh yeah. Okay, all of them are award-winning teas that we have won. We have this very unique Darjeeling oolong. So it's from Darjeeling, India. And India typically specializes within black tea category, but little tea farms or estates love to do some unique, experiments, and so sometimes you have an oolong made in Darjeeling, India. So it's made within the oolong category because it's semi-oxidized in between a green and a black tea. And they make green teas in Darjeeling, they make white teas, they make black teas. They don't make pu'erhs that I know of because technically all pu'erhs need to be made from Yunnan province. And then we have one of our Wu Yi oolongs, and we had one also with our water sprite. There's 5 types of Wuyi oolongs, and it's from the Wuyi mountain in China. So off of that mountain, they make 5 different kinds of oolongs. They almost all look the same, but they might be grown in different elevations of the mountain and a slight different style of the leaf that they might have harvested and the way that they dry it. So it's super complex, but you just gotta taste it to know for yourself what you like. So in the oolong category, there are 5 subcategories. You have the puchong, you have jade, you have amber, you have champagne, and you have baked or aged. And we also won for our baked and aged category also, but we're sold out of that one now. So, but that was really smooth oolong. It was the style of this Kwan Yin oolong, but it was made in Taiwan instead of China. So it was technically a Formosa oolong because Formosa means it's from Taiwan. It's the ancient name for Taiwan. So any Formosa oolongs, it's not a name of a particular oolong, it just means it's from Taiwan. So let me know at any point if you have any questions for me. Any questions out there? So anyways, oolongs are a great category of tea. It's personally my favorite because I can drink my oolongs that are so light, almost like a green tea. Then I got my medium grades, medium oxidations, you know, like an amber oolong. And then you got this nice dark, you know, mature flavor of a baked oolong that's almost as dark as a black tea, but it might not have that astringency, but it has that smoothness of an oolong still. And is really budget friendly because usually you can re-steep them up to 6 times. So anyways, it's a very complex category if you want it to be complex, or you can just start drinking the tea and enjoying it. So that's it for today for our explanation of oolongs. What is an oolong? And please definitely share this with your friends. Let anyone know who might benefit from this video, and we would love to hear from you. Please write your questions and comments below because I'm always checking them. I'd love to make more videos on what you're interested in. And again, this is Jenny with Sipping Streams Tea Company for another Thirsty Thursday.